This is a Hyundai Accent. It's a car. So for a short time, we've got this Hyundai Accent because reasons. So I figured while we have it, I'll pull a Doug DeMuro and show you all the cool stuff and the quirks and features and take it for a drive. Well, first off, it's a hatchback. And it opens like this. And there's soda in here. They don't make the hatchback version anymore. So that's a quirk or a feature or something. Well, there's a steering wheel. There's cruise control. That's cool. Has this very nifty phone holder. No, wait, that's my wife's. Behind it, well, it has this stereo with a CD player. Doesn't seem to have Bluetooth, though it does have USB ports down here, an auxiliary in, jack, all that fun stuff. Automatic, because rental. And there's this dinky little armrest that I'm not sure if I'm better off with or without. It's got power locks, power mirrors, power windows, auto down on the driver's side. Hey, that's just like my WRX. Well, you've got the keys. Yes, actual old school physical keys. Let's take it for a cruise. Ooh, hear the power. The seats are hard, not terribly supportive or comfortable. Well, the headlights work. That's something. I'm gonna leave the armrest up because I can't reach my coffee. The armrest down, and that's important. I can't see anything out the back of this thing. Visibility out the back window is terrible. It's this tiny little slit thing. All right, let's see what this thing can do. Not much with traction control kicking in. Well, it definitely drives like a car. It has gas. Good brakes. I have to give it credit for the brakes. They're quite good. Now we have sodas flopping all over the hatch area, so that'll make for some great audio. I drove a Hyundai Elantra about 5 years ago, and I got more feedback through my Logitech force feedback racing wheel for my computer games than I did through the steering wheel that was actually attached to the Elantra. But this 2017 Accent has fixed that. I'm actually feeling relatively good feedback through the wheel. Actually feels pretty connected to the road. Of course, this is a rather old school kind of car anyway. Well, old school is in 1990s. Which is interesting because the experience of driving this is a lot like my 95 Mercury Tracer was, in that it's just basic but decent transportation. No frills, especially by today's standards, but it's a car. It drives, it goes, it turns, it stops, and it gets you places. I know, this is like the most profound car review you've ever seen, right? I'm really struggling coming up with interesting things to say about this car, because this car is not very interesting. It's not bad by any means. It does everything it's supposed to do just fine. There's just nothing interesting about it. The automatic transmission isn't bad. It's a 6-speed automatic, which is pretty impressive for a bare-bones economy car. My Mercury Tracer only had a 4-speed, and it was made of glass. It had to get repaired or replaced at least twice during the time I owned it. I can't make any comment on the longevity of the Hyundai. It's got 21,000 miles and has admittedly led a difficult life as a rental car, I'm sure. Speaking of difficult life, let's try a 0 to 60 run just for kicks. Alright, this intersection onto a highway requires me to stop, so let's make some preparations. Traction control off, shifter into sport mode. Sport mode on a Hyundai Accent, yeah.
3 hours later.
And now all the traffic ever is passing. This is why you shouldn't stop at the end of an on-ramp. You can't even get on the highway afterward. And yet, on this one, I am legally required to.
One eternity later.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it. Go. Barely enough power to spin the wheels. 50, 55, 60. So I'll put up there on the bottom somewhere how long that took. On the highway at a steady 60, it's loud. There's not a lot of insulation in here. Yeah, so loud I can't even hear the turn signal clicker. So with the steering wheel in the wrong place like it is, I have no idea if the turn signal is even on. Actually, not bad around the corners. Probably because it doesn't weigh very much. Its power is laughable, but the brakes are good, and the steering's pretty decent too. Yeah, brakes are definitely good as I'm stuck in traffic here. My horn's pathetic. Well, it's kind of a trope among automotive journalists these days that there are no bad cars for sale, and as much of a cliche as that is, I do kind of agree with that. This is probably one of the worst cars available today, and it's not bad at all. It is perfectly good basic transportation. For the non-enthusiast who just needs a box to get them from point A to point B, the Hyundai Accent is going to do just fine for you. And for about $15,000 or so, you really couldn't go wrong with a car like this. Would I buy one? No. I'd spend less money and buy something a bit used with, a bit more flair to it. Or I'd spend a whole lot less money and get something equally boring to drive. But I do a lot of my own work on my cars. Again, for the non-enthusiast who wants a warranty, this is a good option. And Hyundai and Kia are known these days for their really long and extensive warranties. So if you want a good basic appliance, this is it.